of Truth Tarot. My name is Mandy. For those of you who are just joining, for those of you who are returning, this is another one, and we're going to be doing a part 2 into the alleged master plan of Bryan Kohberger. So in my last reading, I touched on, allegedly, how he first got introduced to the girls. It did kind of line up with everybody's incel theory. Him misreading signs, feeling like they're into him when they're not. And when the rejection happens, that's when... And it preceded a conversation with his father where, allegedly, when Bryan moved to Washington, in his head, it was like a new slate, where he really tried putting on a facade of somebody who is empathetic and nurturing and caring. It was, I believe, represented by the Queen of Cups. He had a conversation with his father, and after that conversation, something made him abandon that. Or it was a conversation where his father was more like, why aren't you more like your sisters? Or that kind of thing. And then right after that conversation, the alleged meeting the girls and rejection happened. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Allegedly. So we are starting from that point. If you have not seen the first reading, I suggest watching it. I posted it a couple days ago. So in this reading, I'm going to be using the investigation layout from the Missing Variables deck made by Ashley Custer from At the Reckoning Co. And I'll put links in the description box where you can get these decks. This deck, as well as the mystery or the Whispers of the Unsolved True Crime Oracle, I'll also be using today. And I'm as well going to be using another deck that she created called Sacred Woundings 2, where we're going to explore the alleged wounds that are facilitating this type of behavior from him. I mean Bryan Kohberger. So I'll put all the links in the description box so you can purchase these decks if you want to. And let's get started. As always, everything said in this reading is all alleged, in my opinion, based on the card meanings and the energy that comes up throughout the reading, not facts. When I am referring to facts of the case, I will state that they're facts from the case. I've been following this case right from day one, and I have waited this long to do the reading because I like to go into my readings unbiased. However, I'm still going to look into it. It's been requested on my channel, so I'm going to do this to my best of my abilities. And at any point of the way, if I'm feeling like my prior knowledge is going to taint it, I will say that. Full transparency on this channel. Okay. Let's get started. So, the mystery. The first question is going to be using the Missing Variables deck. I may use some tarot afterward. The first question is, what is the core issue, the hidden truth, or the central enigma that needs to be unraveled? Interesting. We've got the 7 of clubs. Behind the veil. The barriers hide the heart of the matter. Interesting. So let's use our 8-sided die for this one. What caption on the card applies? Obstacles faced by investigators in pursuing justice. All right, let's look at the tarot and we'll see what obstacles these were. What obstacles were faced by the investigators in the pursuing of justice? The links, the partnership. Where did he meet them? Where did it's like one hand is representing the kids, the girls. Other hand is representing his. How did they come together? And that was something that investigators could not really explain. A lot of the evidence, and this is fact, was circumstantial. I guess except for the touch DNA on the snap. However, that can still be argued as how did it get there? Like, did somebody steal the knife sheath that was Bryan's? You know, like there was a lot of, it was circumstantial. So that's interesting. Is there any other obstacles that they ran into? Aha. The imbalance that this connection or the lack thereof has created. It's created the imbalance and an overcommitment. It's like, well, not an overcommitment. It's like we're not able to fully commit to this link because there's no smoking gun. And it's creating an imbalance in how they can say that they even met, Bryan Kohberger even met or knew of the girls. Which is interesting because my first video kind of unveiled a scenario that maybe happened. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's extremely possible that he could have been eating at the Mad Greek restaurant. The girls are going off their shifts and they don't have a ride home. He offers them a ride home thinking that they're really into him because they were kind to him when he was eating. And then that rejection was the straw that broke the camel's back. See, because there was no posts about it, because the girls never actively hung out with him, there's no real proof of that happening. So it's just interesting. All I'm saying is how this is presenting itself. And that was one of the issues that the case had, was where did he even meet them? Okay. The next is the motive. And I'm going to be using the Whispers of the Unsolved as well as tarot for this. So what drives the people or forces involved, as in what drives Bryan Kohberger? What drove him to this? The lack of the digital footprint. Lack of the digital footprint. Digital in reverse. Like, they can't place me in this circle of friends, online or in person. Did not go to the same school. Didn't even live in the same state. However, it was like a 10-minute drive. So, but in his mind, allegedly, in Bryan Kohberger's mind, that gave him enough a distance to be able to escape the connection to them. But it doesn't mean there wasn't one. Strategy. And it was part of the strategy. It was almost perfect in his head. It's like he had that rejection. It sparked, okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy. You know, I've been trying to play this role. I am clearly not. No more. Light bulb. Who represents everything I hate that has personally offended me, as in rejection, but that nobody can trace me to? Those girls I drove home. There was strategy behind it. And that is one thing we do know of Bryan Kohberger. This is fact. He is a thinker. He is a planner. Pragmatic. A-type personality. And when an A-type personality is not being channeled properly, that's kind of when you get an evil scientist mind. That is the vibe I am feeling right here. Like, this is perfect. And he knows from his education about strategy how the cops work too. So in his head, I can commit the perfect crime, allegedly. These spilled out. So bloodline, family, lineage in reverse. I have no connection to these people. Trafficking in reverse. There's no connection to me taking them anywhere or anything like that. Now, hired in reverse, he was having a lot of issues, and this is fact, at his TA position at the university around this time. He was not treating female students fairly. And things were starting to crumble. This new slate that he allegedly wanted, it started to crumble, and a change of plans ensue. That's when he's like, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Allegedly, my opinion. That A-type personality needed to channel what he was feeling, and what he was feeling was not good. Okay, let's get some tarot for this. What drives the Bryan Kohberger? Interesting. An inner purging. repeating negative patterns with death in reverse. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I know what I'm capable of, and it's not being a good guy. It is not being compassionate. It is not being empathetic. And with the Five of Swords in reverse, that's when he finally, peace after trouble, when he decided to go fully to his dark side, that's when he no longer felt like he was resisting the universe. And that gave him an internal, okay, as in green light, go. How can it be bad if it feels this good? And then with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, it's reckless behavior. It's him just fully channeling his dark side with no accountability or anything like that. Okay, let's... Okay, so the second part, a sudden change. This is fully committing to his dark side. The second question is, what hidden desires or emotions or agendas fuel their action? What hidden desires, emotions, or agendas fuel Bryan Kohberger'S actions? Well, that was the Ace of Cups, and it just fell on the ground. And it was in reverse. Repressed emotions. Repressing this dark side of himself for so long, not having his shadow channeled properly. Feeling empty and cold inside. Feeling disappointed and being let down by everybody. Ever since he was small. Unhappiness, lack of fulfillment. Disappointment, and negative indulgences, channeling his dark side through negative indulgences. He's an ex-heroin addict. When an A-type personality is not channeling their creative energy properly or at all, that's when you get obsession and addiction to unhealthy things. All of these negative indulgences transitioned him. This is him channeling his negative indulgences and him feeling better for it. This is moving to calmer waters. So internally and in his mind, when he indulges in these negative things, he gets relief. He gets peace from that. Which is not right. That is not how a healthy brain is wired. I don't think In my personal opinion, and this is just my personal opinion right now, adding commentary, I believe that there was some wiring just not right with him when he was born. You know, there's a lot of argument. Was it nature versus nurture? And I really think in this case, it was nature just not being wired right. I don't think anything that his parents would have been able to do differently would have changed his outcome, personally. The evidence. So, what known clues exist and what crucial details might have been overlooked or intentionally hidden? So we're going to break out the missing variables deck for this. What known clues exist and what crucial details might have been overlooked or intentionally hidden? Okay. Betrayal in the ranks. A partnership fractured by deception. What passage on the card applies? 1 again. A partnership under pressure. So what's interesting is we got the 2 of Cups, which is also a partnership. In this case, it's his relationship with his family that I feel fractured and really allowed him to go to his dark side fully. That conversation he had with his dad, let's get some clarification on that. What's interesting is the Queen of Pentacles came out. This is a working parent, a female parent. Somehow, that conversation that he had with his father, he caught his mother in some sort of lie. Maybe not a lie, but maybe he confided into his mother about something, really believing that she was not going to divulge it to anybody, even if it would have been his father. And that was like, it solidified and allowed him to abandon all that was good. And I think it was reinforcing, I can't trust anybody. Nobody really has my back. Everybody has been against me since day one. And that's him not taking accountability for the reality of the situation. Perhaps he divulged something to his mother that was impossible for her to keep quiet. And maybe his dad had every right knowing. What can you say about that? Am I on the right track with that? Judgment, yes. Okay. So let's get the whispers out for this. card that fell to the ground. Party's over. I was let down for the last time. People are going to wish they never fucked with me. Movement forward. That's what propelled his movement forward with his plan. What's really interesting too, and I just realized this, is that the prosecution subpoenaed his parents to take the stand. What would have been the upcoming trial in August. Was it this conversation that they wanted to subpoena the parents about? And right after, it's like, that's when the defense was like, okay, let's just plea deal, because I think that if the parents take the stand and they are truthful, it's game over. You're going to be put to death. Can I get any signs whether I'm right or wrong about that? Oppression, the devil, hiding the truth. I don't want the world to know what my parents will say, because that's the truth. I will rather say I did it and have everybody wonder than the truth coming out. Allegedly, my opinion. This is him controlling the strings right to the end. Remember that strategy card? He always knew that he may have to do this for self-preservation, because he only cares about himself. Because narcissists can't function any other way. Yeah. Negativity, the star in reverse. No love. It's a choice. I have no love for what's right. Queen of Cups. This is representing the girls and their families and his mother and his sisters and everybody. This card came out first. Ace of Cups in reverse. No love. I don't care. What external perspective, insight, or overlooked testimony offers clarity and shifts the direction of the investigation? What external perspective, insight, or overlooked testimony offers clarity and shifts the direction of the investigation? So, this is dishonesty. So, what external perspective, insight, or overlooked testimony? So, what I can't talk today. What shifted everything going to trial? What shifted that? Rethinking the idea of going to trial. That is the Ace of Swords in reverse. We need to rethink this idea because I cannot have the testimony of my parents because they're going to tell the truth. And I don't want them to tell the truth because the truth will bury me. This is two opposing forces working towards a common goal. His parents, who should be on his side, and the prosecution. And the parents and the prosecution, if they went to trial, bam, that testimony, it would have exploded. Bryan Kohberger's defense. Because there's something in that testimony that would have shown his true colors. What if the parents would have gone to trial and testified for the prosecution? What would they have said? Justice, upright. They would have said the truth. They would have taken accountability. And they would have revealed the truth of Bryan Kohberger. King of Cups. His representing his father being devoted to him. Okay. But not willing to lie either. And Page of Pentacles in reverse, the lack of progress. I'm just going to plead because I can't have them speak the truth. And Bryan Kohberger is looking at this from a very immature, because he can't take accountability for himself. It's everybody else's fault but his. Those people deserved what they got. And that is his reality. That is how he views everything. And I don't think that's ever going to change. Okay. So, what is the final conclusion, resolution, or necessary action to uncover the truth and bring closure? See, the thing is the trial is not going to happen. He's going to live out the rest of his life in prison, as he should. But let's get a parting message from Spirit. Actually, let's get a parting message from all four. Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana. On the karmic consequences that Bryan Kohberger is going to have to deal with. And that's outside of his jail sentence. This is what he's going to have to endure in the next life, when he has to repeat this all over again. When you don't learn the lessons, you're destined to repeat them. That's just the way it is. Okay, guys. Strength. Yeah. So what they're saying here is they have compassion for his soul, believe it or not. They have unconditional love because they're of the light. What's interesting, we've got these two cards again. This card is representing the wiring or the mental blocks that he was born with that caused destruction. And how this life that he's living right now, he missed his chance of progress. It's like he missed the mark in this one. He didn't progress. His soul didn't progress properly. He's a very young spirit, as in an immature spirit, like a soul, like how can I just, like a very unenlightened soul. Yeah. An unenlightened soul that isn't able to break free from emotional pain or hurt. It's almost like he sees it very immaturely, like he's a victim always, and not from a way of, oh, I can grow from this. I can be if I'm humble, I can improve myself from this trauma, from this heartache, from this grief. But instead, he missed all of those opportunities to do that. Yeah. And so he created this negative cage for himself, where that's all he can understand and see. It's only him. This is a narcissist. This is like, I am the center of my universe. And he doesn't see the power in building others up, being compassionate. He doesn't see the value in that. And that's a very immature soul. All right, guys. That will be it for this reading. I don't know, if you want to see more Bryan Kohberger readings, let me know. I do feel that there's a lot of readers already doing this case, to be completely frank with you. And yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you want to see more. I'll absolutely do more. But I need to know that you guys want to see more in order for me to do more. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very shortly with another reading. Oh, if you're enjoying my content and you have not subscribed yet, please consider doing that. You know, over 70% of you watching aren't subscribed. It doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is hit subscribe. Really no big deal. It really helps me. I put a lot of time and energy into this channel. And if you are enjoying the content and you watch all the time, why not just hit that subscribe button? Like, it's not going to cost you anything. But the good energy that you're going to be paying forward, you really have no idea how much a subscribe means to me. So, consider that. I wish you all the best, and I will see you next time.